industry somebody can get into in today's world.
Okay, I'm going to redefine the term industry. Africa. Here's the story. Follow me on this. 9 of the 20 fastest growing economies in the world are going to be in Africa in 2025. Everybody's overlooking it. Only 0.5% of the world's private equity and venture capital is going into Africa, despite the fact that it's going to be the only continent with a growing population. A marketplace is all about consumers and producers instead of people on the tail end of life that are draining money out of an economy. Africa has a vibrancy.
The best industry somebody can get into in today's world.
Okay, I'm going to redefine the term industry. Africa.
In my lifetime, Africa will become a superpower in wealth. Africa has the resources, the ability, and the people to grow into an economic superpower. It is the richest continent already in terms of natural resources. 30% of the world's cobalt, diamonds, gold, and iron are in Africa. Africa also has huge wealth in oil. Nigeria produces more than 2.5 million barrels of oil per day. Africa already has a booming pharmaceutical industry, and huge progress is being made in fighting back against disease and infections in African countries. More and more African children are going back into school and are being provided with education and improving hygiene practices.
We've been talking about going back home to Africa, Ake Bulan, for years now, and I'm going to manifest this dream. My dream is to come home and live home for the rest of my life. Create content in home, connect with my home, connect with our people, connect with the soil. When I go back home, I'm staying there, and that's a wrap. So, y'all seeing me right now in my journey, traveling here, Costa Rica, and I still will continue to travel the whole world, but Africa is my home, and I'm going to live there for the rest of my life.
They told us that American dream was the greatest dream on earth, but right now, it is Africa that is waking up to a dream that is real. A dream not built on credit cards, a dream not built on illusion, but on soil, spirit, and sovereignty. So the world is watching the greatest reversal of modern history because the African dream is becoming a new American dream. African dream is becoming new American dream. That's the video of today. And Grand Rising Kings and Queens from Africa and across the ocean, welcome back to another awakening message today where the truth meets prophecy. And I'll say this, today we talk about a shift that even the Western media can't deny anymore. They can't manipulate. The rise of Africa, the rebirth of the real dream. Because for decades, they told us success lived in America. They told us to chase visas. They told us to chase passports. I was telling people when I was growing up, we were being told, read hard, study hard, so that you can go to America, so that you can go to England, you can go to France. So they told us to chase visas. But right now, we are waking up. People are seeing the truth. Even the white Americans, the white people on those countries, they are packing their bags and moving on to another countries. And which countries are they moving? They are moving to the countries which are in Africa. So the dream they sold us has become a nightmare for them, while Africa is becoming the future for us. Before I continue, I want you to watch these clips that are planned here for you. It talks something about what I'm going to talk about, but please make sure you are here up to the end because I have a lot of good things to tell you.
A lot of Americans are moving to Africa. A lot of them. And it's Black African Americans, or African Americans as you may call them. They are moving to Africa. They are moving to South Africa. There's a lot of them now who are posting about South Africa, and they are mentioning how much they love South Africa. And it's obviously the affluent ones, the ones who can afford to be in South Africa, the ones who can afford to leave America. Because to be honest, a lot of Americans, especially African Americans, they can't afford to leave America. Like, there's inflation there, it's expensive, they work 3 jobs. It's hard, like it's a very tough, environment to navigate. It's a very tough economy, America. But they are all flocking here to Africa, especially here in South Africa and in Kenya. I know that a lot of them have moved to Kenya because they can buy land. They can be able to buy, even here in South Africa, they can be able to buy. So could Africa be the new American dream? Could it be? you know, because my husband is American, you know, and a lot of his friends, my husband is a businessman, you know, so he has a lot of friends who are businessmen as well, you know. Some of them own clubs in Brooklyn, some of them, you know, own buildings in Brooklyn, but they have places in Cape Town, you know, like some of his friends will have a place in Cape Town for 6 months, camping in Cape Town, you know. And these are discussions that we kind of have, like their future is here. They are thinking we're going to make the money in America and then, you know, spend it here or retire here. Some Americans are here retired, you know. And I'm obviously talking to the Americans who can afford to travel and leave. You know, I know some of Americans who are there stuck. They're going to be like, yeah, you know, ain't nobody going to Africa. It's the less exposed ones, because the ones that are exposed are moving and they are here. They are camping here. So could it be that now Americans are also realizing the same dream we were sold, you know, about America? Because we were also we were sold a dream about America. I mean, Mina, I went to America 12 years ago for the first time. And from what I knew about America and when I got to America, it was two different things, you know. Now that I've lived and I married in America, I know that American dream does not exist. Like, the American dream is it's a I don't know the word in English, but it does not exist. It's a myth, you know. It's an illusion. Actually, this is the word that I wanted. It's an illusion. There is no such thing as an American dream. People in America are living in debt, high debt. They live on credit cards. They don't have a good quality of life. Food is expensive, you know. Medical bills are expensive. It's expensive to be in America. So a lot of them are realizing also, it's unhealthy. Like, it's very unhealthy. A lot of them are realizing that, and they are packing their stuff and they are moving to Africa. You know why? Because Africa has space. Africa has good food. Africa affords them a quality of life, like a good quality of life. So is Africa, let's talk about it for 5 marks. Can you let me know in the comments, is Africa the new American dream? Yes or no?
Meg, this is just so exhausting. You know, in the past, we used to say hard work is the key to success. Resilience is a way to move forward. But in America, you can work 7 days a week. And to meet up with the American dream is something quite different. Like, seriously, quite different. I've been working since last Sunday to today. But still, I've been working like this for 15 years in America. Guess what? I'm not seeing the progress. Every day you work hard, you become more frustrated. I'm feeling like I need to go back to Africa because this is just too much. When once you're making $10, you are very okay. When you start making $12, you want to switch your car, you want to upgrade your house, you want to, buy a new iPhone, and at the end of the day, it's worth nothing. It's like running a treadmill. I'm gone.
We left the United States and moved to Senegal, West Africa, a year and a half ago now, almost 2 years, and it's been the best decision living abroad. So the kids are on Christmas break, so we are at an Airbnb in an hour and a half outside the city, and it is beautiful. I'm about to give y'all the view. My husband is splashing like a whale in the water, but see. So we came out here with all 5 kids, hubby, my mom, the kids' grandma, our nanny, our cook, our good friend, and her son. But I say all that to say, sometimes the American dream is making your money in America, having your business, maybe working remotely, having your passive income streams, some real estate, some investments, and living in another country or on another continent. Don't limit yourself to feeling like your best life is only where you've grown up. Sometimes your best life is on the other side of the world. Sometimes your best life is a 10-hour flight away, okay? And you can always go back to the US, right? I go back and forth, but this quality of life, the experiences that I can have and that I can give my kids, it's not in America. At least not right now. At least not while the naked mole rat is in office. Yeah. Come on out here, guys.
You remember the first time you came to America? You know, you look at the roads, the expressways, you're like, wow. The 30 years, I look at the roads, I don't see anything. Nothing's beautiful. You know, all I remember is when I get in my car, I drive to work, half an hour, I'm there, and that's it. I don't see anything. You know, I don't see the beauty that I used to see. I don't see the view that I used to see. You know, what do we see? After 20, 30 years living in America, what do you see? You see bills. A lot of bills. I tell you what, bills are not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. Now my dream is to go back to my village and sit there, just enjoy fruit and vegetables and chicken, real chicken. Yes, with no bills. That's my dream. My dream now is going back to Africa.
I really would like to know if there is an African app where we can connect back to countries in Africa so we can start learning and unlearning what we've been taught. Get it direct from the source. Like, it would be amazing to connect to Ghana and Nigeria, South Africa, Cameroon, Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Mali, Senegal. Like, it would be amazing to connect directly with those countries. Like, is there an app that we can connect back to the people, the source?
More than ever, the diaspora is returning home across the globe. Our people are seeking relocation, connection, and investment in Africa. Yet no trustworthy, fully vetted app exists that brings together the professionals, resources, and services needed to make this transition seamless. If you recognize this gap and are also searching for reliable support but don't know where to turn, help us build the PAL app. The Pan-African Lifestyle, PAL app, will serve as a hub for community, connections, and capital, a digital ecosystem designed to empower our people with citizenship pathways, business opportunities, medical travel, and investment guidance all in one place. Our expert teams in Ghana and Kenya are ready to develop a fully functional platform with plans to expand into Burkina Faso, Namibia, Botswana, Tanzania, South Africa, and Zambia. To ensure we have the security, servers, and overall resources for expert infrastructure necessary to deliver these services, we need your help. We're calling on 4,000 backers to pledge a minimum of $250 to our Kickstarter campaign, raising $1 million to bring the PAL app to life and revolutionize how the global Black community reconnects with the motherland. Join the movement. Click the link in our bio to pledge on Kickstarter. Email info@panafricanlifestyle.com or visit panafricanlifestyle.com and complete the contact form. Africa is calling. Let's build the African dream together.
I'm American. I'm proud of that. It is what it is, right? I never take that from anybody. That's what we are. It's at the stage right now where it's like if I'm continually investing in a place that doesn't make space for me, it just doesn't, to me, like it's not good business. It's just not, right? Even if I still live there, if I'm going to put my hard-earned money somewhere, I want to put it someplace where I can actually see it grow and I can actually see a benefit, right? Like I can do things here on the continent that I can't do in the States, right? And even like when I think about money going longer, right? And like I can actually make a real impact here with just being here, right? And my time, my money, my energy. I think about my education, my worldliness, the things that I've learned. anywhere where I go, I like to think that like, if I'm not benefiting, I shouldn't be there, right? And so I genuinely feel that way. And being here, I'm like, I want to be of use. You know what I mean? Like I want to be. It's not about charity. It's about like being part of a culture and part of a community. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants charity. It's about like, yo, I'm here. How can I be of use? Like put me to work. Like what can I do? You know what I'm saying? So whether it's farming or just showing people that I'm here and that you can invest and make businesses. I'm building a resort on my property. Like that to me is what makes the most sense. I look at my kids. I've got these beautiful black kids, and I put so much energy and time and money and schooling into them, and then I'm going to give them to a nation just to like shit on them. It just makes no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? That's my most valuable possession are these kids, and then I'm going to just be like, okay, hope you make it. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like, why? Yeah. You know, and then you have to worry about them getting shot or getting arrested or them not. It's just like, and not that things don't happen everywhere because they do, and that's, you know, we're being realistic. But if we can just take that out of the equation, that when I walk into a place, they're not immediately hating my bloodline and my lineage and everything that I come from, everything that I stand for, like, that's worth its weight in gold to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in this era right now, forget the racial thing. When you think about just like financially, what's the smartest move? It's the continent, without a doubt. Like, first of all, it looks like, I use Kenya as an example, right, because I was living in California. When you look at like the frontier, right, when people were like migrating from the East Coast to the West Coast for the gold rush and for mining and stuff, right, that's what Kenya is like right now. This place is it's prepared, the foundation has been laid, it's ready to rock. Like it can be it's already an amazing nation, but if we took the diaspora, if we put our money in nations like this, it's unstoppable. Why are we putting all our education and all of our time and all of our energy and all of our money into a place that doesn't have anything for us? You know what I'm saying? Like for me I have to fight for a loan in the States. Why? I make enough money. Like it's dumb. You know what I mean? I'm like, look how much money I make. And they're like, well, you need blood. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is dumb. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I've been making money for 25 years, like real money. Why am I fighting for chump change and dumb interest rates? It just makes no sense to me. I'd rather take the cash that I have and build it where I know I can actually grow it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can make real money here. And we talk about real legacy, right? Whether it's politics or business or whatever it is, like these nations are ready. And a lot of times when you look at a place like Kenya where like it was colonized, right? And so like when the white colonization, when that hand gets lifted, they're kind of just left, right? And everyone's fending for themselves. And I'm like, we've been in the same position. You know what I'm saying? But like, come here. It's the same. It's like the same poison, different result almost. You know what I mean? But it's like, come out here, put your money here. Even if you don't want to live here, put your money here instead of investing in things that there's a cap. There's a cap on our ceiling, and everyone's acting like it's not there, and it is. And America's a little bit better than say Europe or whatever. But like, this is the future. Africa's our history, and it's our future. So to me, it's like it makes the most sense to come and put our energy, our intellect, our education, our time here.
Now, let me start here with the illusion. The illusion that the American dream was built on one idea, and this idea was work hard and you'll make it. But the truth is, it was never built for everyone. Black people built America wealth. We all know that. And yet, they were locked out of that very, very dream. Okay? The sweat watered the soil. Black sweat, black genius powered the industries. But the black children, grew up in poverty while theirs inherited privilege. And right now, even their own children are realizing that all was a lie. Because the cost of living has exploded. It has exploded. Jobs have, and they don't pay enough. Mental health is collapsing. People live in cars with billionaires own 10 homes. So that's not a dream. That is a warning that American dream is collapsing. While they patch the cracks, Africa is building a whole new foundation. Okay? And that's why I said about the African dream. African dream. So, let's talk. What is African dream? African dream is not about the skyscrapers or stock markets alone. African dream is about ownership, it's about community, it's about freedom from dependency. African dream is the right to live on a land that belongs to your ancestors. African dream is to live freely, build wealth that stays with your descendants. The African dream is a young man in Nairobi starting a tech company that serves the world. African dream is a woman in Accra owning a farm. Okay? And this farm feeds a continent. African dream is a creative in Lagos, turning music into a global gold, a black American returning to Ghana and reclaim identity and purpose. So African dream, it is spiritual, it is economic, and it is historical, and it is unstoppable at the same time. You see, everything that is happening was written in the spirit of time. Yeah? For centuries they took from Africa, they took our gold, they took our people, they took our stories. But prophecy said that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And that prophecy is manifesting right now. The global system, as you see, is crumbling. Currencies are falling. Alliances are breaking and truth is unfolding. And in the midst of all this, Africa is standing. Not as a victim, but as the next center of human evolution. You know, there's a time they laughed when we said Africa would rise. They laughed so hard. Even you could interview just a random white kids, white youths, white people on the street, and they will say Africa is very poor. You will ask him or her, which is the poorest country, and they will say Africa as a continent is poor. You know, they always take Africa as a country, as a one country. But right now, they are booking flights coming here to invest. They are booking flights coming here to settle, coming here to relocate, because the African dream is no longer a myth, but it is a new reality. Now, let's talk economics, family. The balance is shifting. The balance is shifting. I can feel it. I know you can feel that too. And for the first time, young Africans are becoming millionaires through innovation. For the first time, young Africans are becoming millionaires through imitation. Agriculture is booming. Tech startups are growing faster than elsewhere on the earth, you know. And real estate is expanding, and tourism is no longer about safaris, but it's about connection. Black people from the diaspora are buying land in Ghana, are buying land in Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa. They are building schools, they are building hotels, media houses, and farms, you know. And meanwhile, the West is drowning its students with loans, broken policies, and spiritual emptiness. And that's why the African dream feels new right now. It feels fresh and divine. Now, listen here closely. We are living in the era of the return, okay? Our brothers and sisters from the US, from the Caribbean, from the Europe are coming back. And they are not just tourists. They are visionaries. They are coming to build schools. They are coming to build farms. They are coming for healing. They are coming to build media platforms. They are bringing knowledge, skills, and fire. So it's not just a mere migration, but it is a reconnection. The spirit of Marcus Garvey lives again. The call of our ancestors echoes through their hearts and souls. The call was return home. The land you seek is seeking you. Okay? And when we unite with our global family, African, Caribbean, and America, that's when the real dream starts. That's when the real dream begins on our unity. So while the West worries about inflation and cultural collapse, Africa is learning self-sufficiency. They used to call us third world countries, third world continent, but the first world is falling apart. And us that they call third world is rising. You see, America is facing a spiritual drought, okay? And we'll talk about that on another video, another episode. People have money, but no meaning. Technology, but no connection. Freedom, but no peace. Meanwhile, in Africa, people are poor in dollars, but rich in soul. Families still eat together. Communities still help each other. And there's a rhythm in the streets. There's laughter in the air. You know, when you come to Africa, come to Nairobi, Kenya, the air, there's laughter there. There is life, there is hope. And that's the African dream that I'm talking about. The human dream. Okay? Now, I have to salute the builders. I salute the silent warriors creating the new dream. I salute the silent warriors creating the new dawn of Africa. They are the youths coding somewhere in Nairobi, the women exporting shea butter from Ghana, the farmers of Senegal, they are turning desert into green, the black Americans investing in real estate somewhere in Kenya. These are not charity stories, but these are legacy stories, because Africa doesn't need saving. Africa needs collaboration, innovation, and love. The African dream is built by us, not for us. It is not waiting for permission. It's already happening, and we are the architects of the new reality. Okay? And make no mistake, family, this is spiritual warfare. The battle of the future is not only about money and politics, but it's about energy, it's about consciousness, it's about narrative. For years, they made Africa look like a curse. They said Africa is poor, but right now people are realizing the truth. Africa is the blessing. Africa is the cradle of humanity, the source of rhythm. Africa is the fountain of genius. And that's why the media is silent, because they fear a conscious Africa. They fear a united black world. They fear an African dream that doesn't depend on Western permission. Even after fearing that, it is too late. It is too late, because the spirit has already been awakened. Okay? Let me speak prophetic now. There is an Africa being born that will shock the world. Okay? An Africa where African passport will hold power and pride. An Africa where young people will no longer run away but return home. An Africa where the African Union will act and not beg. An African where economies will trade in African currency. An African where black people globally will own the narrative. The media will own the money. That's the future. That's the African dream. And no systems, no propaganda, no political agenda can stop this. Because this isn't just a plan. It is a destiny. Okay? It is a destiny. Let's reflect on what American dream taught the world. American dream showed us that material wealth alone cannot create peace. They showed us that capitalism without conscience is suicide. They showed us that when a nation loses its soul, its skyscrapers become tombstones of emptiness. The American dream was never meant to last forever. The American dream was a temporary illusion meant to awaken the real builders, and that is us black people. That's us Africans. That's us black Americans and Caribbeans. Now the torch has passed and Africa holds the flame. So the new dream is not limited by borders. The new dream, the African influence is global. You can see it in fashion, you can see it in music, in art, in food, and technology. Okay? Afrobeats is shaking Africa. African films are dominating Netflix. African entrepreneurs are launching global startups. African spirituality is restoring lost identity. And all those, we need to do something. We need to build. Let's build. Let's connect. Let's invest. Let's protect. Buy land. Support local businesses. Educate your children in truth, not colonial lies. Start the farm. Start that app. Start that movement. Don't wait for leaders. Become one of the leaders. The African dream is not something we watch. It is something that we live. Okay? When we unite, Africa becomes unstoppable. No more East versus West Africa. No more African versus African Americans. No more divisions over accents, tribes, or shades. Because unity is the currency that never inflates. And when we trade in love, when we trade in respect, when we trade in vision, we build wealth that no IMF can measure. Unity is the backbone of the African dream. Okay? Now, Look about Western media. Let's talk about the Western media a little bit before I finish. The Western media refuses to show some things. There's a silent migration happening right now, and it's not African running away anymore. It is foreigners coming in, okay? Chinese investors, European entrepreneurs, American retirees, and even influencers. They are all moving to Africa quietly, buying land, opening businesses, and investing in tourism. Why? Because they have seen what's coming. The world's eyes are shifting southwards. While America drowns in division of and Europe ages in silence, Africa is becoming the youngest, richest, and most promising continent on earth right now. Think about this. 60% of Africa population is under 25. That means what? That means while other continents are declining, Africa is rising in energy, creativity, and manpower. So this is not just a statistic. This is a prophecy in numbers. The African dream isn't just for Africans, but it is the world's news home for opportunity. But the different is that this time we are the gatekeepers of our destiny. Okay? In the 20th century, America held Silicon Valley. In the 21st century, Africa has that Silicon Savannah, not Valley, Silicon Savannah. Just giving you an example, from Kenya's mobile banking revolution with M-Pesa to Nigeria, fintech startups, South Africa digital design hubs. So Africa is building its own future with African intelligence. Right now we have our own internet. Okay? We have tech hubs in Nairobi, tech hubs in Lagos, in Kigali, in Accra. Okay? We are not copying the West anymore. We are solving African problems with African minds. We are creating apps for farmers. We are creating health systems for rural clinics and education tools for the youths. And while the Western companies face layoff and debts, African startups are attracting millions in investment, even from global grants. The African dream is not about escaping poverty. It's about creating wealth on our own terms. The digital age belongs to Africa because our creativity has no borders. Now, let's go deeper. Beyond the economy and politics, the African dream is not just material, it is spiritual revival. As I said earlier, our ancestors knew that life was sacred, so they believed in balance. They believed in balance between humans, nature, and the divine, okay? But colonization or colonialism broke that connection. They made us ashamed of our own roots. They made us ashamed of our own names, our gods and language, you know? But now we are reclaiming the spiritual inheritance right now, because you may see young Africans are reconnecting to ancestral trade. African spirituality are reconnecting to Asian wisdom. Diaspora brothers and sisters are discovering their African names and ancestors. So this is not about religion. This is the true reconnection. Okay? True reconnection. Because no nation can rise if its soul is lost. And Africa is healing her soul, one awakening at a time. When spiritual power aligns with economic strength, the world will witness a civilization reborn. And that's the real African dream, to rebuild the body and spirit of people. Okay? For centuries, Africa was taught to forget. Our schools taught us to worship the empire and despise our own heroes. But today, African schools, universities, the new digital classrooms are rising. They are teaching African history, teaching African innovation, teaching African leadership, and young Africans are learning about Mansa Musa instead of Napoleon. We are learning about Queen Ziga instead of Queen Elizabeth, learning about Imhotep instead of Einstein, you know? This educational reform is the foundation of mental liberation, because knowledge is power and the truth is the weapon. Okay? So when the new generation learns who they truly are, they stop begging for validation and we start building nations, you know. The African dream depends on this truth revolution because no empire can enslave a people who know their history and destiny. No empire can destroy that. And allow me to honor our African queens, African women, because they are the backbone of this dream, the mothers of civilization. The African dream cannot rise without the African woman. African woman has carried the weight of the continent through slavery, through colonization, through modern struggle. She has raised nations, protected families, and fought battles in silence. Right now, she's reclaiming her throne. African women are leading businesses, are leading politics, are leading in farming and education. They are innovators, healers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. When you see Rwanda parliament, women are majority. In Kenya, women are dominating in agriculture and trade. So African women are proving that they are not just a part of the dream, but African woman, she is a dream. Empowering women is not charity, but it is nation building. And when African women rise, the continent stands unshakable. Now, family, let me speak some truth to power here. For too long, Africa has been trapped by foreign aid, IMF loans, World Bank, etc., etc. And that era is ending. Countries are rejecting debt traps and negotiating trade on equal terms. African nations are creating the African Continental Free Trade Areas, a massive agreement connecting over 1 billion people with a shared market, you know? Imagine trading goods from Lagos to Lusaka, Nairobi to Niamey, and without Western intermediators. Imagine that. That is the African dream in motion. Economic freedom, trade without exploitation, production without permission. That's all we need. We do not need aid. We need unity. We need creativity, and we need courage. Okay? And that's exactly what this new generation is bringing. Okay? In the next 10 years, believe me, in the next 10 years, it will define the centuries to come. Between 2025, between this year and 2035, Africa will experience a transformation unseen since independence. Mark my words. Mark my words. Africa will decide, or these 10 years will decide the rise of African-owned global companies, a currency revolution reducing dollar dependency, a major diaspora return and investment, youth-led political movements, and a new wave of African spiritual consciousness. Everything the world thought was impossible for Africa will become inevitable because divine timing has arrived. When prophecy meets preparation, destiny becomes visible, and Africa's destiny is unfolding right now. The world have to learn from Africa again. Because once upon a time, the world learned from Africa. Once upon a time. Our ancestors built the first universities in Timbuktu, developed architecture, medicine, mathematics, and philosophy. And then there came a time they erased our contribution to claim the title of civilization. But right now, history is rewriting again. As Western societies collapse under greed and loneliness, they will look to Africa for meaning. They will look for Africa for balance and renewal. Okay? And this will, they will learn how to build communities again. They will study how Africans live with joy despite struggle. They will copy the same Ubuntu they once mocked. Because in the end, the soul of humanity beats from Africa, you know? And the world will have no choice but to come home to its origin. Okay? But there is a hidden war. The system is trying to stop this dream. So it's not just new air. It's not just that clean. Okay? Let's not be naive. The rise of Africa scares the old powers. They will use propaganda, debt, conflicts, and distractions to slow us down. They will pit countries against each other. They will fund divisions and call it development. But prophecy says, no weapon formed against Africa shall prosper. Because this is not just politics, it is divine correction. The system that fed on African resources must now watch Africa rise beyond its control. So family, stay alert. The African dream must be protected with wisdom and unity. And this is not a spiritual and mental battle. This is a spiritual and mental battle, not just economic, but we are chosen to win this battle. Okay? We are chosen to win this battle. Africa is becoming the new American dream. Let's be honest. The culture has already shifted. The African dream is not just about land and business, but too about the influence. Okay? Everywhere you go right now, from Paris to New York, from Rio to Tokyo, the rhythm, the fashion, the slang, the spirit, all of these are African. Our music dominates the charts, Afrobeats. Our hairstyle, our clothing, and art are the new global trend. Okay? Even Western artists are flying to Accra, to Lagos, just to find the sound. It is not coincidence. It is a cultural correction. Okay? For centuries, the world copied Africa and gave credit elsewhere. But right now, they are being forced to acknowledge where the pulse comes from, where the heartbeat comes from. Our rhythm has conquered the algorithms. Our energy defines the new generations. And when a people's culture becomes the world's heartbeat, their dream becomes destiny. You know? And again, I must say, we have youth power. Youth power. These are the dream's new soldier. Because when they said, one said that our African youths are lazy, that African youths needed saving. But right now, it is the African youth saving the continent and inspiring the world. Across Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, young people are creating businesses and apps and farms and everything. We are refusing to beg for jobs, and we are building opportunities. We are not waiting for politicians. We are becoming the leaders. The new generation right now doesn't want pity. We want power. We want justice. We want identity and legacy. We speak English. We speak Swahili. We speak Yoruba, Twi. We speak Luya. We speak Amharic. We speak French. We speak Luo. We speak Kikuyu. We speak the language of truth. So the African dream rests on the shoulders of the youths. Rests on our shoulders. And they are carrying it with fire. I see them. I am part of them. And another thing that is pushing this is the return of Black diaspora, the global Black unit, the global family reunion, you know. And that's something divine. Black people from all corners of the earth, they're hearing the call, come home. And they're returning to these countries, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania. You know, we are realizing that the real dream isn't just the skyscrapers of New York, but the red soil of Africa where the ancestors were taken. You see? So the year of return in Ghana was not just a tourism event. The year of return in Ghana was a spiritual prophecy. It was an awakening of a generation that knows our healing begins where our story began. Where is that? It is in Africa. So when the diaspora and the continent unite, the African dream becomes unstoppable. We are one people. We are one power. We are one destiny. And the role of the earth and God's hand is in Africa's rise, you know. That is Africa's rise is not accidental, it is divine. So every empire that enslaved us is now trembling under its own lies. Every system that mocked our faith is now losing its soul. God has always had his hand on Africa. Even when we were oppressed, we carried divine favor. In pain, we multiplied. In poverty, we produced greatness. And now the veil is lifting. Africa's destiny is revealing itself not as the victim of the world, but a vessel of God's restoration. So we are not just building nations, but we are restoring divine order. The African dream is God's reminder that what was stolen will be restored 100-fold. I have a lot to say, but I will leave you with this. The African dream is not a fantasy. It's the world's new reality. And we, the children of Africa, are the authors of that reality. So peace, love, and power to every black soul rising across the globe. Until next time, stay woke, stay proud, and keep building the dream. Peace out.